Hey, hello, welcome to more random thoughts in random places. Now, before I go any further, I spent last night awake, couldn't sleep. Like some of you have said on here, you suffer from insomnia, so do I. And I was going through your lovely messages and responses. I can't thank you enough. You wonderful, beautiful creatures, you. It was so brave of you to share. And I really, really appreciate you and love you very much because you also helped me hold on. And there's been some lovely messages of encouragement, and we all need that from time to time. The reason I'm up and dressed today is because you guys gave me that extra push that I needed. I know how it feels to really motivate yourself, and it's hard. So I was reflecting last night, and I have replied to every single one of you in a different way. And so, let's move forward with this. So, my name is Margot, and I'm 52 years old. I was adopted at the age of 3, and I was taken from my mother's arms in the courtrooms, and that was my first experience of trauma, and it never stopped, So because I had to use curiosity and understanding as my healing mechanism, it meant that I went on a journey with sociology, psychology, counseling, criminology. I've practiced it all. I have got my studies, which in one video I said I wasn't going to complete. Well, that was a bit of a white lie, because I'm still going to complete it just for my own self-worth and the success of it. But I don't know if I'm going to go into that world, because as I've learned, nearly every work environment is so toxic. And if you're not following the narrative, you soon dismissed. Trust me, I know this. So I wanted to say a really, really big thank you, and how much I love you for engaging with me, for sharing your feelings. It's helped me confirm a lot more, and I think this is a place where I want you to be able to feel like you can discuss that and share with each other as well, because I can imagine you guys have got some really inspirational stories of survival. And one of the ways to find compassion is when you listen to someone else's story and you can put yourself in their position and you relate, because you've also been there, but you've all experienced it in your own unique way. So you all have something unique to bring to the table. What you've gone through is valued. I value you anyway. How you've made it and how you've survived, beautiful. And don't stop. We can do it together. Anytime you feel that there isn't a person that you can talk to that's close by, come speak to me. It's okay. Here is okay. There's no reprisals here. There's no being criticized here. You won't get that. Okay, you won't get that. It's brave and courageous of you to just reach out and share in the first place. And I really, really, really can't express how humbled I am at that. One of the things I wanted to get into as we keep discussing betrayal is societal betrayal. Now, I'm going to do that last, because that is the one that ultimately affects everything. Because if you look at the environment we're in, it forces people through fear to do the most despicable things to one another. We wouldn't dream of doing those if we were living in a different environment, but everything around us is pure fear. And people have done the most diabolical things because it's beaten them. Doing what is right versus doing what is easy. See, betrayal. And being as we were on spousal betrayal, I wanted to share with you one of the most common denominators in spousal betrayal. And that is, first of all, being with someone you don't really truly love. You're just there for whatever reasons. It's productive. It suits you right now. it's easy, it's practical, there is no emotions involved, it's just sheer tactics. And that leads to partners doing infidelity on each other because you're not really into that person, you're into what they have or what they've got or how they make you feel without having to do any shadow work, self work. So you hide behind that. And what happens is that marriage will ultimately break, that relationship, because the other person is going to soon sense it. They're going to realize you're not here, are you? And then what happens? People have affairs. And affairs are bad as it goes because what they can do to people. But when it's a family member, I had that. Yeah. So my husband had slept with a family member. And on top of all of that, pain, hurt, and humiliation. All of the local people knew. Everybody else knew. Her friends knew. I didn't. Yeah. Even today, that cuts. And we've never been the same since. And so there, in spousal betrayal, look at what you lose. You've just lost a family member that you maybe really didn't appreciate. You had a wonderful bond with. And you're happy to lose all of that. And that breaks families because now families are going to have opinions. They're going to maybe take sides. And then you've got a fractured family. And that's what you don't want. But again, betrayal is always done by our nearest and dearest, isn't it? And that's a real sucker punch to the face, that is, because you would expect that from a stranger. But here's the illusion. Family betrayal, spousal betrayal, can seem so worse because of the pact that you had together, the pact that you had. And then that spousal betrayal, when they bring family into it, it's a double whammy then, because you've got the expectations, entitlement of family members is they expect the highest level of loyalty, and they couldn't imagine you doing that to them. But as I have always said, because I learned this, humans are born human before they're born any title. So they don't really feel like they actually owe you anything. Have you noticed in most relationships it's, oh, well, if you loved me, you'd do this. If you thought that much of me, you'd do that. No, that's emotional blackmail. Yeah, you don't tell someone if they loved you that they would do this, that, and that, and then shred layers of themselves because it suits you. No, what you've got to do is you've got to work your way up. And if you're feeling any sort of a way, it's because you've not done your shadow work. And just be open and honest with yourself, because you can't run away from yourself. So you're just prolonging it. So spousal betrayal, along with, ending up doing things with, having an affair with the neighbor, the family member, it's just rock bottom. That is the lowest of the low. And I've had enough stories of the impact that that's done to both men and women. But they experience the same things. You're still going to be angry, you're still going to have anxiety, sleepless nights, you're still going to doubt yourself, but a man may do it in a different technique to a woman. But let it be known, he's still going to feel that pain and anguish, and so is a woman going to feel that pain and anguish. So let's not try to play games with who's had the most pain and hurt. Everybody has. And we're all at different levels of how we cope with that and how we manage that and how we get by that and fight to get back to the person-centered, the person that we once were, and better. That content individual, that gentle, soft spirit that is no longer agitated, where you can speak about it now and get some sort of productivity from it rather than being in pure rage and emotions. So again, it comes down to, we just got to treat each other better. And if ever there was a way, if someone says, well, give me an example of how I can do that, how I can have more empathy for others. Well, one of the things you can do, I don't know about your country, but in our country, we had a game show called the Generation Game. And in that game, you would have to do tasks of someone else's job, what they did for a living. And again, and it humbles you, because just when you think, ugh, how hard could that be? Go do it. And then you'll have a little bit of appreciation. And that's what we need. Appreciation for what bad conduct actually really does to people, and the long-lasting effects that someone will always have to go through. Some people are now on medication because they simply can't cope. And you get people that have just swanned off. They're not sorry. And that on top hurts as well. So I just wanted to reach out and let you know, thank you for opening up. Thank you for sharing your feelings and your everyday trials and tribulations in the face of adversity. You're beautiful, you're strong, you're wonderful, and you are loving. And on that note, my darlings, I'll see you soon with the physical effects of betrayal in the family. And so I've just given you a few things to think about when I next go into that story, because that kind of betrayal runs deep because of the expectations family have of one another. And if there's one thing I've learned, don't expect nothing from nobody. Just if you do get something, just be appreciative. But as of that, you go do what you got to do, and don't change those beautiful traits about yourself. No matter how dark you see this human society get, just take a look at nature and it will remind you of who you are. And on that note, my darlings, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend as we go into the wonderful weekend. And Jah love, always.